Hello and welcome to Angels Podcast. This is Matt Brown, Angels team photographer, and I am here with the first freelance photographer to do the podcast, John Cordes. Thank you for being here. This is awesome.
Thank you for having me, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are in a wonderful right field where you probably grew up, right? You saw this place open, close, open again many years?
Many years. My first game here was 81.
81?
Yeah.
That was Reagan was in office. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, the hostages were freed and I was here.
Oh, that's great. Freed hostages. All right, so then let's do a quick short story how you became a photographer and why.
I went to LA Harbor College because I was accepted at Pepperdine and I still didn't know what I was going to do, and we thought, let's save some money.
Wait a minute. You were going to go to Pepperdine? You chose LA Harbor? Pepperdine?
I was accepted at Pepperdine because my grandfather was good friends with Alan Cranston, and I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Well, all the all the law classes are in Los Angeles. I wouldn't have seen Malibu. Who wants to pay that kind of money? And I'm going to downtown LA. So I just said to my grandparents, look, I don't know what I want to be. I'm going to go to LA Harbor College. And I was fortunate enough to end up on the campus paper at LA Harbor College with people who are still working in the business today and have won awards. One of them being Scott Stannis.
That's rare.
Who's a Chicago Tribune political cartoonist. Stuart Durando, who's a sports writer for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And Sam Merkovich was on that same paper as me, and he's the editor. And we were winning all the awards. And then after that, I went to Cal State Fullerton and ended up with people who are still winning awards. They're at the New York Times, people who won Pulitzers on that staff. So I was fortunate enough to be involved in journalism on good staffs, and they carried me. So I won a lot of awards because the papers were that good. And then when I started working regular newspapers, the Angels became my beat. I was the night guy. So
what newspaper?
The first one was the Brea Star-Progress.
Oh, yes.
And then the Anaheim Bulletin.
Right.
And then VJ Livero in '86 hired me to work with him as one of the team photographers here.
Okay.
And that's when it all started.
Now, when did you meet VJ?
I met VJ in '81. Rod Carew had helped set him up with being the team photographer here. I think it was '79, maybe '80 latest.
Okay.
Rod really liked VJ and saw his talent, and so I met VJ when I came here in '81.
Okay.
And VJ, being the guy he is, he says hello to everybody, even if you're the new guy or the old guy. He just wants to make you feel comfortable, and that's how I met him.
So you're off and running.
Off and running. And then VJ had a big show right when he was really kind of exploding as photography, and he wanted to print black and whites, and he didn't know how to print black and whites really well. I mean, he could do it, but really well. And so he needed to make 16 by 20s.
Right, and there was a difference back then. There were guys that can do it, and then there were guys that really knew how to
and
print.
people knew I could do it. When I went to apply for an internship at the LA Times, the editor was looking at my prints where I was on fiber paper, looking for the spot tone marks, and he couldn't see them, and he was just so impressed by that. It's like, how your stuff's so clean. Everybody's got the spot tone marks, and the people in your audience right now are going, what's spot tone? But so VJ asked me we went to the Anaheim Bulletin to help print up his show, and then right after that, everything started taking off with baseball and needed more coverage, and that's when he decided he wanted to make me part of his staff.
Spot toning.
Spot toning and printing and seeing my stuff, and other photographers going, did you see what he got with that little 300 millimeter lens? How did he do that? So that's how I ended up here. Yeah.
So, okay. How many baseball games do you think you've done in this stadium? Because you're fortunate. You've spent a lot of time here.
Yeah, it's definitely thousands. Because 81, let's say I did 40 or 50 games, that's 30, almost over 30 years. It's got to be close to a couple thousand.
Yeah.
My Cal State Fullerton education, not doing the math real
in.
well. But I was also doing, working for the papers. I was also doing Padre games, and then working for a card company later, Upper Deck.
Right.
Shooting Padres and traveling all over. So I was spending a lot of time at baseball parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about spot toning. Do you miss film, or you totally get digital? Like, are you in?
I get it, but I miss film because the workload was far less than it is now. Digitally, you keep having to revisit your work.
Right.
And with film, it's basically you handed off the slides or you archived it, and when an editor needed it, and they never did because it was always what's next.
Right.
We were just in your office looking at those binders of slides, and they're going to sit. Most of those binders are going to sit, and nobody's going to look at it. You know,
that's it.
That's how it is. With digital, it's like, oh man, I got to go back and find that game, and do this and do that, and then if somebody wants something like this, I got a call from the Ducks when Getzlaf threw out the first pitch here a couple years ago. Rather than them having it over there or trying to find it, or somebody just can't find it, they call me. And I have to go into my archive. In fact, we were in the photo. I'll talk about it. It just happens.
Sure.
Somebody gets lazy or they're not sure how to do it, and they just say, I'll have him do it for me.
You miss time in the dark room?
Yeah, I do. I really do, because it was fun creating in there. But Photoshop's more fun than dodging and burning in.
Now, here's the thing I miss about the dark room is being with the guys in the dark room.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I'm at home, I'm by myself in my office, and it's just Photoshop. There's no like, hey, how'd you do that? What dodging tool do you have?
Right.
Like, did you have a set of dodging tools, like your little kit?
Sure, and then there were the ones you made, because they were always circular.
Sure.
So you kind of made the cardboard one that was a little more oval,
right.
and taped it onto the circular one, so you get the, and then your hand, you do the little.
But you had tools.
You had tools, and you had music in the dark room,
right.
and you could agree. On the music you were going to play in the dark room.
Right.
So it's great.
Now you just put it on Pandora and just play whatever the hell you want to hear.
That's right. You're in your pajamas trying to get some editing done.
All right. Your favorite baseball lens, like the one you can't leave home without, or if you had to say.
400 2.8. I'm not going to let you finish the sentence. The Nikon 400 2.8 lens. I love that lens. And for some reason, people tell me I'm pretty good with it. And yeah, that's the lens I won't. I've even shot weddings with the 400 2.8.
Yeah.
Right. Sit in the back and
it's
that
a different
stuff.
look. You sit in the back.
A lot of light gathering capability, and most churches they won't allow you to use strobe, so you're ahead of the game. If you have a 400 2.8, you're closer than any other wedding photographer because they don't carry them.
Right.
So it's just different.
You don't see the 400 2.8 profile in the wedding photo catalog too often.
You just don't. But your clients, people you photograph weddings for, they see stuff that they've never seen before, and they tell you.
Right.
So I've never seen something like that before.
That and the first pitch at a wedding, you really don't see much.
I'm gonna try that stuff.
Okay, your favorite stadium today? What is it?
It's still this stadium. And big part of the reason is how easy it is to get in and out of here. Because I've gone to Dodger Stadium and have had the time of my life. And then just trying to get out of there has ruined the whole experience.
I can see that. That's tough.
I've come here and gotten to see so many magic moments and so many great players. And, seeing these Boston Red Sox guys, the coaches, several of them were ex-Angels players who I all know, and they're coming up and saying hi. That experience isn't ruined by trying to get out of here. So I love this place. I really do.
Okay, the stadium you wish you could have shot at. Never did, but wish you could have shot at.
Good question. Holy smokes. I've never been to Boston.
Okay.
So I can't.
And we could do that tomorrow. You and I get on a plane and go.
We'll go. The place that had a lot of really fun light quality was Old Tiger Stadium. Because if you did it right, it looked like you were photographing a baseball game 100 years ago, which I'm assuming Boston, and I've been to Wrigley. But there was colors coming in there, and even if you just photographed the bin with the baseballs in it, it looked amazing. The light quality bouncing around there, and there's these rafters that you could go up into and catwalks and really create. I would have liked to have shot there just for the look of it, and then for the comfort of it, I think Kauffman Stadium would have been a lot of fun. Every time I went to Kansas City, I always had a good time and good fans out there.
Okay. How many stadiums do you think you've been to?
I've been to more that are closed than are open now.
No way.
Yeah, because Upper Deck and even the Angels, from time to time would send me all over the country doing things. But now that's all changed. It's all local. So I've been to the Kingdom, but I've never been to the new Seattle Stadium.
Okay.
I've been to the old Red Stadium, but I haven't been to the new Red Stadium.
Okay.
Same thing with Pittsburgh. And so I've been to more that are close than they're currently.
Okay, so what should all stadiums have?
Just very pleasant people who like what they do, who care about what they do. And I was thinking about it. Artie Moreno has always been a guy who cares about the fan experience here.
Yeah.
And the people who are involved with the field should care about the photographer or the journalist experience, because that's if they're down there for us, they should at least like us. So, that's what I think every stadium should have. It's just good people. Just surround yourself with good people.
It's a good one. Okay. Tall man. Nobody, you and I will get confused with being the same person. Wool suit, speed graphics, satchel, 4x5, heat of the day. It's going to be hot and humid today. Can you ever imagine being behind home plate and shooting Ty Cobb, Lou Garrett, and looking at those guys and wondering, just don't foul one off and kill me?
Yeah, no net. Just, now one thing I do know, those guys did kind of get out of there for a little bit, I guess. I don't know how that process, send the film off, or I don't know what they did with it. But
run like hell?
Yeah. Well, and they used to run out to second to photograph the plays.
Right.
I just couldn't imagine.
Can you imagine being in a pickle, shooting a pickle?
Exactly.
Run down.
There's a famous story about some guy shooting Ty Cobb who went rounding first, and then the photographer ran across the mound to third base to photograph Ty Cobb sliding into third. That's just that's just part of the game back then. So.
But, I don't say I'm military brave, but when the balls come flying in, okay, we're what, 80, 90 feet away from that foul ball flying into the well. I can't imagine being 10 feet.
No, I was doing USA Baseball last week, and a kid let a fly ball go, and it hit me in the leg, and I've got a welt on the side of my leg right now, black and blue mark. That's larger than the ball. Drop Japan. But a foul. I've been hit by foul balls before. Garrett Anderson's first at bat as an Angel, he two-hoppered one off my leg and drew blood.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was looking at my blue jeans leg, and I could see blood coming through, and I had little seams. You could count the seams on my leg. So yeah, I couldn't imagine being that close right there with a big clunky piece of equipment that you got to take care of. In a suit.
Looking good with a fedora.
And with other guys around you, so it's not like you can... I saw that Brad Mansion posted that one where they were on the wood scaffolding.
Right.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
Just take it. Here's the ball.
All right, so you mentioned Garrett Anderson.
Right.
Let's talk about who your favorite player was to shoot. Who was it?
Well, my favorite player was Garrett Anderson to watch. I mean, it seemed like every time you looked up, he was at second base, and I really enjoyed him and the way he did it. But favorite player to shoot? Boy, I don't know.
Like the guy that, he was always giving you bat on ball, always gave you good emotion.
Yeah.
Because you've shot some good, generation of baseball.
It was fun covering McGuire on that home run quest he was on, because he has that big, wide open swing. Like Mo Vaughn was a nightmare to shoot because it's closed, his arms are up in his face.
That big guard.
Yeah, and he wore his helmet down, so it's tough to get in there, and get a shot. But a guy like McGuire opened up real good, and Alex Rodriguez was always fun. Tim Salmon was always a lot of fun. Who I really liked shooting was Brian Downing.
Okay.
Because Brian Downing was a guy, it could be an 0-2 count. The next thing you know, he's fouled off 8 more pitches. It's full count, and he's just battling up there, and you're just getting some really good stuff. And he was probably getting on base. I remember one time when his ribs were bruised or whatever, every turn of the bat, he winced hard, and he stepped back in there and took another hack. So I enjoyed shooting BD. He was a lot of fun to shoot.
Okay. Which guy do you wish you could have shot? Someone way before you ever picked up a camera, you could have gotten a chance to...
Hank Aaron. I would have loved to photograph Hank Aaron. Are you kidding me? That guy may be the greatest baseball player ever. Babe's in that conversation too, of course, because Babe could pitch as well, which is scary, and pitch well. But, I hear these old timers, and I've talked to a lot of the old coaches about Hank Aaron. And of course, I got to see a little bit of it when I was a kid on television. But,
game of the week.
I would have loved to have photographed Hank Aaron in that whole, 714 quest. And a lot of people say Willie Mays as well, but Hank Aaron's the guy that came to my mind right away. Yeah, I'd like to have seen that.
See, now that would have been a good time, and black and white. You could have been shooting him back in Milwaukee and all those games.
Well, and then I know you talked to Zagaris. He's got that great shot of that old Kodachrome 25 or 64 shot of him in the batting cage, and that uniform just looked gorgeous.
Right. All right. So we know Z has made many of photos. Let's talk about the one you missed, the one that breaks your heart today, that something happened. Exposed film wrong. Someone stole your camera. The cat ate it.
Yeah, and that's another one that's not easy. I mean, not hard to recall. Dodger Stadium, that's the old Nikon F3s.
Uh-huh.
And they have a NiCad. And my NiCads were all low. And it's the end of the game, towards the end of the game. And somebody got plunked, and Mike Scioscia was the catcher. And they're going out there to fight. And Mike Scioscia rears back to hit somebody, and I'm pressing my button, and there ain't nothing.
No clicks.
There's nothing. And I got the photo. It's just in my head. I can see it right now. Mike Scioscia back rearing to hit somebody, and nobody got to see it.
Stays in your head.
There's no batteries. My game was done. Because it's one of those things where I was waiting for it. I wasn't waiting for the motor drive.
Right.
It was just all coming together in front of the lens. It was going to be, it's going to be gorgeous. Nothing.
Was that with the one with the green light indicator then went to red to let you know that it was dead on the battery?
Well, if it was dead, you wouldn't get anything. On the old, I think it was like an MD4. But it would have the double lights, and when it was getting low, only one of them would blink. But I knew they were going low, and there's nothing I could do about it. I mean, I was at the end of the game, and I thought I had a little more left, and my backup NiCad was dead as well because that was back in the newspaper days.
Sure.
And the stuff was just wore out.
You were
I was just stuck. So I missed that.
So you have a beautiful one in your head.
It's in my head to this day.
All right, so you're fortunate. You got to play in the days of those pickup games at spring training and over the line, and VJ had basically his own spring training baseball league with photographers.
We got the shag balls in spring training, yeah.
If you could be a baseball player, what position would you play?
Oh, bench. It's a scary game, man. But
you could be the Moda or the Hanny. I mean, you could come off the bench and pinch hit.
I'd definitely be an outfielder. I'd like to be an outfielder.
You're a corner man? In the corners?
No.
Playing center field?
I played some sort of baseball till I was 34.
Okay.
And I hated first base. I used to pitch. I liked pitching, but if I could pitch well, I wouldn't mind doing it. I know VJ would have loved to have been a professional pitcher, but I think I'd like to have been an outfielder.
Okay.
I'd like that.
Tim Salmon, outfielder?
Oh, yeah.
Just out back there and just catching and smashing when you get the...
I like the way he used to slide under that ball, kind of knees first, and it was all right.
All right, you get to be the commissioner for the day, and you get to make any rule you want for one day, and it will happen. What would that rule change be in baseball for you?
Wow. I hear a lot of people say, get rid of the DH, but I like the DH. I don't really know. I mean, the game has been pretty much the same as it's always been. I don't think I have anything I've really thought about. I like the instant replay.
Right.
I mean, I've seen some things over the years.
Would you like to see more of it?
No, I think the league has that balanced about right, and with technology the way it is, for the most part, the managers are making the challenge when they're right. It's not like
they're not winging it.
Yeah, okay, I'm just throwing the flag just because I
Right.
need a timeout, like in football, which I think they're the way football does it. It's like a timeout for those guys. I mean, it's a calculated thing.
Sure.
In baseball, having a timeout's pointless, but in football, having that extra time. Hey, I got to settle my team down, even though it's a bad call and I know it's going to go against me. I'll just go ahead and do it. Because that's longer than a regular timeout in some cases, especially if it's close. So you may get a couple, 3 minutes, of settling your team down. So I think they got it right here. I think that's all right. Yeah, I wouldn't change much.
Okay.
Yeah.
What baseball tips do you have for anybody shooting? It's either starting out.
Okay.
Yeah. What baseball tips do you have?
Talk to people. Just if you don't know, just ask. Most of us, especially on the West Coast, we'll tell you. We'll let you know. I know you see new people, and you need to. If they need to know something, you'll tell them. You'll talk to them, and you'll talk to them. You won't talk down to them. You'll let them know. Just ask.
All right.
Hey, when do I go? Here and do this, and if it's a walk-off situation and there's room, go outside third. You might get a better shot. So just talk to people.
All right, we got a nice, hot, humid day. We got Boston in town. Last time we're going to see Big Papi.
Wow.
right? I mean, if we get a playoff, God love us, that'd be great.
Right.
What are you looking to create today?
Well, that's going to depend largely on him. I'm sure hoping he tips his helmet tonight, and his last at bat. So he's left-handed. So I'm thinking that, I'm going to go outside third anyway. So I'm thinking definitely go out there because he's going to tip it that way. And I'm actually thinking maybe going up above.
Okay.
Because I'm hoping he'll look up. That could be a die by the sword kind of thing.
Sure.
If he decides not to tip the cap and just wave, then he's got this helmet on him and it's a hard light, and I'm looking kind of silly. But if he waves and he's looking up to the fans, I can get the catcher and the umpire kind of standing around, maybe looking on. I'm thinking I might do that today. I might try that.
Now, you've been fortunate. You've seen a lot of good stuff happen here over the years. Where's this going to rank? I mean, he's one hell of a player. I mean, he's probably going to go down as the greatest DH we've ever seen.
Yeah, it'll rank right up there. I mean, we honored Edgar Martinez when his last time through, and I don't think he expected that. And the fans here really responded really well, and just the look on his face was, really? I did not know people here cared about me. And that's what made Edgar's retirement so special. I just don't think he understood. And this ranks right up there with Jeter coming through here,
Sure.
And
Mariano
those guys.
last
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Were you here when Jackson hit 500?
Oh, yes, I was.
Okay. So that was
Yes,
a big
I was
one.
off of
And
Buddy
then,
Black.
Right? And then
And we lost that game something like 100-1.
And then who had 3,000 here? George Brett?
George Brett, yeah.
He had 3,000.
You've heard that story about him getting picked off at first.
No, but let's hear it as a bonus.
Oh, it's the funniest damn thing. He hit. We were covering him, and back in those days, Kansas City was public enemy. I mean, they were the guys that gave Angels grief. I miss that rivalry because we hated the Royals.
Interesting.
And they hated us because they were always winning our division.
Okay.
So there was no way we wanted to see George Brett get 3,000 hits here.
Sure.
Go do it someplace else. It's
Right.
just another punch in the face by the Kansas City Royals. So he gets to Sunday, I think, if I'm right, needing 3 hits. We're thinking, good, he's not going to do it. He's going to do it someplace else. Well, lo and behold, he has that day and he gets the hits. It's like, oh, man. So he goes over to first base. Fans are applauding. He's tipping his cap. A couple photographers go out there and they does all the thing and ceremony. So the game gets underway and George Brett takes the lead off, and I'm outside third and I'm photographing down there, and the next thing you know, the ball's being thrown over to first, and Brett barely makes a flinch, and he's tagged out by Gary Gaetti on it. And George Brett heads back to the dugout, and they're all laughing at him, and George Brett, I can't believe I did that. So I asked Gary Gaetti the next day, what did you say to him? I mean, what happened there? And he goes, I told the pitcher that, look, if he gets 2,000 hit, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start chatting him up. So I was standing there going, man, that's a pretty impressive thing, man. Your family's here. You must be loving it. And George was like, man, this is so great. I love this. Boom, you're out. And he just didn't even move. He just kind of flinched like, oh, man. The look on his face like, I'm so stupid.
Oh, that's great.
Talk about being baseball ready, right?
Yeah, being baseball ready for sure. Well,
great.
John, I can't thank you enough for
Sure.
sitting down and doing this. This is great. I know this
my
is like your
pleasure.
second home. You've had more
Yes.
more innings here than anybody.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.